every month they changed my trach so that it would prevent infection and so forth. So usually it I've usually had it done with two respiratory therapists. One that takes the old trach out and the other that pushes the new trach in. And it's always well coordinated so that it happens so fast that the hole in my neck has very little time to respond. Well, the respiratory therapist on duty yesterday uh, was going to do it solo by himself by using two hands and coordinating, using one hand pulling the old, the other hand pushing the new. Now, it's very traumatic for me, and I am a nervous wreck. It, I'm very extremely squeamish about the trach and my neck and everything, and so I need Xanax to calm me down so I can relax. Now, the first time it was done, it was at another facility, and I will never forget it. It was beautiful. The two respiratory therapists come in, and they started this banter between each other, and it was so funny, and I was so pulled into it and really enjoying their banter. And then after a few minutes, they they stopped the banter and I started leaving the room. I said, "Wait a minute, where are you guys going?" He said, "It's done." I said, "It's done? You changed the trach already?" He said, "Sure." I was like, "Whoa!" I didn't feel it. I didn't experience it. I didn't. Not, I was like, and that gave me the idea of having music. So music always relaxes. And I get into the music. And if I concentrate on the music, I keep my mind off from the trach change. And the one of them here, her name is Izzy. And she and I go way back. I've been here 7.5 years. And she and I go way back. And she always has a way to help me relax, even after I've had the Xanax. Because I dread this as much as many people dread having root canal done or a tooth pulled. Okay, I dread it as much as that, and she's always so good, and she rubs my chest and she pats me to help calm me down so I can relax because I have to relax and not fight it. And I fight it out of panic, you know. And so she helps me relax, and as I relax, then she's able to push the new trach into my neck. Well, yesterday Izzy was busy. Oh, I didn't mean to say it like that. Izzy was busy, and I was in a tizzy, right? Well, anyway, so respiratory therapist. who who he knew when he was a teenager he wanted to do it. He went straight to college when he was in his teens. At 18, he went straight for it, and he was in this practice in his early 20s. And he's like almost 60 years old. He's been doing it a million times. He could do it in his sleep. Well, anyway, he thought, hey, I could do this by myself. I'm ambidextrous and I can do two hands and no problem. And so I was a little nervous, but I trusted him. And um, so I started playing the music, and he pulled the old trick out okay, but when it came to pushing the new trick in, for some reason, there was a problem. I think I tensed up and I was anxious, and I kept deep breathing, concentrating on the music, and the deep breathing, and it still wasn't going in. And he kept trying over and over and over and over again. And at this point, there was blood spewing out all over the place. I have AFib, so I need to be on blood thinners. So the blood is all over the place. He's constantly having to clean the blood and keep pushing the trach in. And I was really, really panicking at this point. I started getting really, really scared. Um, Not that I was afraid I was going to die, but I was afraid that the hole was going to start closing up and closing up and closing up, and they wouldn't be able to put it in at all, and I would have to go to the hospital and get put under, and you know, I don't know how that if it shrunk, if the hole shrunk, how would they increase the hole? Or would I have to be decannulized to go to a 4 instead of a 6? I don't know. I mean, I just was so terribly scared. What is this going to do? Because I'm autistic, and, chaos. If I need order and structure and organization. And when that's thrown out the window, all that's left in my brain is chaos. And so all this chaos was going in my brain and all my mind. It says, oh my God, what does this mean? What's going to happen? Am I going to go down to a 4? Am I going to go to a hospital? Is it never going to go in? And if it doesn't go in, will I be able to survive without it? I mean, all these thoughts went through my head, and the more of these thoughts kept going in my head, and all the chaos in my mind, it was getting worse and worse and worse. So finally, the nurse was called in, and the respiratory therapist called, and other people called in. So there was like a whole slew of people around my bed, and the blood's going everywhere. It's even on the back of the sheet, And um, so finally, Izzy comes in, and she took over, and she did all those things. She just rubbed my chest and patted me on the chest. Okay, relax, relax, with her voice. She was like, relax. It's okay. You're okay. It's all good. So forth. And it finally went in. And all I could think of is, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again. I don't care how much money you give me. I'm not doing this again. And after things calmed down and I was up, it's not that I'm not going to have a trach change again. It's like I'm not having it done without Izzy. Izzy must be in the room. She must be in the room, you know, to have the trach change done. So it was at, uh, okay, it was with him. So it was around 4 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon. Had my and so once it was in, Izzy said, "You want to go on the vent?" And I said, "Yes, yes, I want to be on the train, on the vent." So she put me on the vent, and that gave my lungs a chance to relax and to rest. And it was just a lot. I guess after dinner, I went right to sleep. I woke up around midnight, or 10 o'clock. Oh, I woke up at 10. That's what it was. I woke up at 10 o'clock, and then soon I was asleep again. And then I woke up again at 12. And I stayed up until around 3 or so, 2 or 3 o'clock, and went back to sleep. So, and they said, you needed that sleep. You needed that sleep. And they suctioned me and they cleaned, and there was a lot of blood and it was in the inner cannula. And I think I went to 4 or 5 inner cannulas because there was so much blood. It was all dried blood at this point because, or I don't know, most of it was dry, some of it wasn't, I don't know. So I went through all this trauma. Uh, so I knew that I would get off the vent by morning, even though I was afraid of what my voice was. I thought, oh yeah, I wanted to gargle because last night I could taste the blood in my throat, and I didn't like the taste of blood in my throat, and I wanted to gargle. So I was given mouthwash to gargle, and I tried to gargle, but because I was on the vent, I couldn't gargle. And so all I could think of is, because I'm still feeling it's sharp, it's a very, very sharp feeling in my throat that I think could be blood, but there was a lot of blood I think I could taste. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. So now that I'm off the vent, I'm going to gargle this morning. I should do it now. I think I will. Yeah. I'll gargle this morning. I'll gargle right after I'm done. And try to get this taste and feeling out of my throat. So anyway, this was such a trauma, and it's been a long time since I've gone through a trauma. I don't think I've ever gone through this. I mean, I've had blood came onto the gown. They were supposed to give me a new gown because of the blood of the gown, but they haven't done it. They'll probably do it. They'll do it today, I'm sure. Uh, I just don't know why they didn't do it yesterday. But anyway, um, so I feel very sore. I think my whole body is like, my body is sore. I think from tensing up that whole trauma, it was awful. So anyway, I wanted to record it. My what happened. I'm okay. I'm just very sore, and uh, it's just terrible. I just want to record it so everybody knows, that I went through this. Okay, guys. Um, Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I will see you later. Take care, guys. See you soon. Bye.